Hi everybody, Janae here. So I wanted to come do a really quick discussion video. It's actually a response to Kendall Reed's video talking about relatability and book characters and relatability and beauty. And this video has been weeks in the making. She posted this video probably 3 weeks ago at this point, and I wanted to respond, and I filmed this video twice and I just kept rambling, and so I'm sorry that this is out so late, but this is definitely a response to her, and I will link her video below so that you can get some context for it. And I don't want to actually make this video super quick. I just want to share some thoughts and then maybe open up for discussion in the comments. So when Kendall Reed talked about relatability in book characters, she talked about two main facets. She talked about, you know, kind of body shape and size, and then race and ethnicity. And so I just wanted to come and quickly say that, you know, she posed a question of, do you see a lot of characters that look like you in the books that you read? And I would have to say probably not, but I do at the same time. So I don't know in what order these videos are going up. I'm shooting 3 videos today, but in one of them, in my November wrap-up, I talk about a book that I read that had a plus-size character as the main character. And then I've also read several books like by Black authors that have Black women as the protagonists. But I feel like that's not necessarily the norm for a lot of people. And so when I read a lot of books, especially books that are popular on BookTube and just in general, no, I don't see a lot of people that look like me, whether in body type or size or in race, ethnicity, and lots of different things. And so I do think that that is an issue, but I think that I know book writers and publishers and anyone kind of involved in the publishing industry right now, diversity is a really big, it's a hot topic, it's a buzzword, and it's something that people are looking for. Diversity and that can mean a lot of different things. It can mean in race, it can mean in gender, it can mean in, you know, socioeconomic class, in sexuality, where you lie on the sexuality spectrum. It can mean people living with disabilities, whether those be physical or mental. And so I think that we are getting a lot more characters that kind of deviate from what the norm has been. I wish, of course, with everything kind of being a little bit more progressive, I wish that it would move a little bit quicker, but at the same time, I understand that people are putting in an effort. And I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why I think those things are important. And so the why is twofold for me. One, for the people who want to be represented in books. Basically, when you write a book, when an author writes a book, that is saying that this character's story deserves to be told. That is basically what you're presenting this character's story to the world and saying, I deem this story worthy of telling, worthy of writing, and putting my all into. And when you read a lot of books and you don't see a lot of people who look like you in those books, or who think like you, or who are from where you're from, or, you know, any other way that people can be diverse, like sets of characters can be diverse, it starts to feel like maybe the stories of the people who are like you aren't worthy of being told. And that's not true of anyone. I firmly believe that. And so for people who don't always see themselves in book characters, for those people, for people who aren't kind of, you know, the straight and white and thin, and at least moderately attractive by conventional standards, people deserve to kind of have their stories be told, but I think that also has to do with who's writing stories and who's reading the stories that are being written. There are lots of books about African American protagonists, but when I go to the bookstore, there's like a whole section for African American fiction. And when I was growing up, I didn't mind it so much. I thought, oh, that's great. I know where, like, there's a section I can go to kind of get books that I want to read, but at the same time, it takes them out of, like, the mainstream circulation, and it doesn't give anyone else the chance to read those books unless they, like, actually go searching for them. And so I kind of wish that it was all melded together, and that we could just, like, go to the fiction section and, like, pick up a book with anyone from any background, and see them living their lives and doing things that people do. I think we need to humanize other human beings. And so that's what I'm saying. For people who don't always see themselves represented, sometimes you have to make a conscious choice to read the types of books that where you will share something with a character. But I do think we are getting better. It's just not completely there yet. And another reason that I think that, it's important for the people who maybe aren't as represented in media at all, so books, movies, TV shows, etc. And again, a lot of that is changing, but it's still a very, very kind of heteronormative, Anglo-centered society when it comes to media that we're living in. So another reason I think it's important for, more minorities and things to see themselves in books and in movies and in TV shows is because the same way other people want to escape into literature, I think those people, minorities, people of color, people living with disabilities, people who have different sexualities than is the norm, also want to be able to escape into a book, but sometimes they wouldn't do it with a character that looks like them or reminds them of themselves, and they don't always want to escape into the life of someone that they have nothing in common with. On the other hand, so why I think diversity in characters is important to people who do kind of fit that like standard, again, kind of white, straight, a lot of the time Christian, but whoever fits that kind of norm, it's important for majority readers to read about the experiences of minority characters so that those characters and in turn those human beings in real life can be humanized. I think a lot of the time in the media we see people portrayed a certain way, and so I think diversity for diversity's sake is always going to be a joke. It's always going to be a sham, and because if you bring in, let's say, a black character into a story or a movie or a TV show or whatever, and that person, their only reason they're there is to like be black, and most likely they're going to have a stereotypical black role, and people will not be able to relate because I don't act like that, I don't look like that, I don't talk like that, etc. And so I can't relate, and now this is my view of black people. Same for a Hispanic character, or a Latina character, or an Asian American character, or an Indian character, or a Native American character, or a South Korean character. Basically, we need representations that are true to those people's humanity so that we can humanize them and see them as people when we encounter people like that in our normal everyday lives. I think part of the reason it's so easy to kind of discount the humanity of other people is because we don't see them represented well in our books and in our media and things like that. And so that's why to me it's important. So even though I just said that it's important that minority characters and generally marginalized or disenfranchised people, for them to see themselves in books so that they can relate, I also think it's important for majority society, the majority members of society, to kind of delve into the lives of minority characters the same way that we do with largely like white and straight and thin characters. And so it is a matter of equity. But it's also, to me, a matter of humanization and making sure that people can relate to one another in the way that I truly believe that we were all meant to. And the last thing that I want to talk about in this discussion video is something, it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. It's not the hugest deal ever because I think it comes from very great intentions. But I hear a lot of us talking in like not only the booktube community, but like in books and publishing in general, talking about diverse characters. So the only thing I want to say about that is that a set of characters can be diverse. One character can't be diverse. When you call a character diverse, what you're saying is just that they're different. And yes, that may be the case. But diverse basically means made up of several different things. And so one person, while I think all people are made up of several different things, one person isn't diverse in and of themselves. They have to be a set of characters. Like a set of characters can be diverse. This book's characters are diverse, but there can't be a diverse character. Like I've seen a lot of people talking about their favorite diverse character, which really to me sounds like this is my favorite non-white, maybe non-straight, maybe not thin, maybe, living with a disability person, but it doesn't seem like they're being seen as people. They're being seen as kind of like a contrast to everything else that's happening. And so I just want to implore us to like maybe come up with a better term. And I think everyone has the best intentions. People want to read diversely, not only in the content of what they're reading, but in have the characters be diverse. But again, it's just a little pet peeve of mine when people call a character diverse, because I can't be diverse by myself. My family can be diverse. We can be diverse in thoughts. We can be diverse in like age range, which clearly we can be diverse in, our political leanings and our religious affiliations. And my family is largely African American, and I think you don't think of a group of like minorities being able to be diverse in and of themselves, but there are a lot of different ways to explore diversity, and diversity just means a lot of different things. And so I could be in any number of groups of people that are diverse, but like me as a person, I am not diverse, because I am just myself and I'm made up of me. But then when I get around my friends, who majority of my friends are African American, but we are a diverse group of people in the way that we think, in the way that we speak, in our backgrounds. And it's not just that every African American person or every Hispanic person or every transgender person shares the same experience. We can be diverse in groups of people that only contain that one set, because there's lots of different kinds of diversity. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. That's just kind of like an extra tag along that I wanted to add to the video. Let me know your thoughts. As always, I think topics like this can be a little bit touchy. Keep it respectful. But definitely want to have a conversation, a discussion about what you all think about any of these topics. So again, I finally have been able to respond to this video. I'm not sure when it's going to go up yet, but thank you, Kindle Reads, for kind of like talking about this topic, and I know a few other people have as well. So in between the time from now that I'm filming and when I post it, if I find other videos that kind of discuss this topic, I will also link those below, just to kind of enrich the conversation and, include as many diverse perspectives as possible, or rather to cast a lens of diversity over the perspectives that I'm able to gather. So thank you so much. Again, you don't have to be here. You don't have to spend your time with me. I really appreciate you being here, especially with this like kind of straight discussion video. And yes, again, I appreciate you spending this time with me, and I will let you go. Thanks. See you in the next one.